Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the PHEX Show 2019. My name's Jerry Whiteley. I'm the Technical Manager for the Chartered Institute of Plumbing and Heating Engineering. And this morning I want to go through the G3 regulations and put some clarity in there amongst a few other things around scalding, legionella. And in particular, obviously, around the TMV2, TMV3 situations. So, here we go. Let's have a look at a brief overview of the G3 regulations. The reason also actually why I've selected this as a topic is, as a technical manager, this is one of the main inquiries I get from members, even non-members, but still, at the end of the day, it's one of the main things that come through for questioning and clarification in our institute. So what have we got? All the systems require the following, as I've highlighted. The installation's got to comply with the water regulations. The water supplied has to be wholesome or softened. The system must safely contain the hot water during normal operation, including the system that supplies the cistern. And this includes the failure of any thermostat to control the temperature and during the operation of any safety devices fitted. So that's the start of the basics. So let's have a look at a brief overview then of something that we've probably all been fitting for donkey's years. An open vented system. Been around probably about 100 years. Still fitted to a certain extent, but of course unvented hot water systems now are more popular. But we need to just have a look at this because there are some things with regards to this, with issues that are being raised on a regular basis. So what have we got? Storage vessel has a suitable vented vent pipe. Connection to the top of the vessel to a point of open atmosphere, as you're obviously, I know, teaching how to suck eggs in that regard. Obviously, and it must go over in the case over the cold water system. In addition to any thermostat, either the heat or storage source, the storage vessel is fitted with a device preventing the temperature of the stored water to go to boiling point, 100 degrees C. And the hot water system has pipework that incorporates the provision for the discharge of hot water from the safety devices to an appropriate open place to atmosphere. So let's test your knowledge in open vented hot water systems then. Identify the correct minimum size of a vent pipe on a hot water system, please. 22. Absolutely. So, an open vented system has been around, as we say, since the early 19th centuries. And the first cases of legionella were recorded back in 1977. So, is it correct then to continue to put the open vent over the cold water storage system? Is that best practice? No, it's not. Good answer, good shake of the head. It's going the right way. So, the question is then, so is it for that? Well, not anymore. What's being brought to the attention from the installers, they're being pulled up on a regular basis about putting the open vent over the cold water system. The thing that's still out there in all the textbooks, and it's the thing that we've all sort of cut our teeth on over the years, as to that's the way to do it. But in actual fact, what was produced 100 years ago is not necessarily right today. And this is why it's being flagged up. So, what now is this? The Health and Safety Guidance of 247 Part 2 states, all hot water vent pipes now have to go via a ton dish to a safe termination point. Yes, this is obviously way in excess of what you'd see in textbooks and what even students are being taught in college training centres today, if I'm honest with you. But this is the requirement now. And this is where the guys out on site are still doing the old way of doing things and not aware of these changes. Why? Well, Legionella's on the increase. It's been in the public eye for more and more, and the Part G regulations are generally getting behind, and as we know, there's going to be some amendments made in the near future. The cold water storage system, let's have a look at that. So, the cold water storage system to which the vent pipe discharges should be supported on a flat, level, rigid platform capable of withstanding the weight of the cistern when it's fully filled up to the rim and supported over all its base. Normally 150 mil all round. You as installers will know as well as I do that's not always the case. You can go in a roof space, find these things sat there on a bit of hardboard or on nothing other than the rafters and things like that. Some of these really ridiculous scenarios that occur. So, how much bigger should the platform be from the system base? I did say it a second ago, 150 mil all round the base of the system. The cistern should be accessible for maintenance and cleaning, and also for replacement, and also lagged, etc., for heat gain, things like that, frost protection both ways, from that point of view. But we still see today cisterns in roof voids, confined spaces, incorrectly fitted. Let's have a look at the safety devices then. So the safety devices to control the temperature, the storage vessel has at least 2 independent safety devices, such as those that release pressure, so as to prevent the temperature of the stored water exceeding the boiling point, 100 degrees C, in addition to any thermostat. So, there's my question. Can you name two of 3 suitable safety devices, gentlemen, ladies and gents? Anyone peel one of those off? So, what have we got? Safety control thermostat, 60-65. High limit stat in the control stat fails at 80-85. And temperature pressure relief valve if the high limit stat fails at 90-95. Flipping it over now into unvented hot water, which is obviously seems to be the most popular systems in this day and age. So the hot water system has pipework that incorporates a provision for the discharge of the hot water from safety devices to be visible at some point, and safely conveys it to an appropriate place to atmosphere where it no longer causes persons danger to people or the building. Not always done that way. People are still drilling holes through the wall, just protruding it out the wall, and that thing goes off, someone's going to cop for it, etc. Or even putting it into certain waste pipe scenarios where it's either not trapped with a waterless trap and so forth, or even the wrong kind of plastic. Question. Identify the safest method of safe discharge, please. Anyone have any scenarios? No. Typical arrangement is this. Taking it away through the ton dish, within the parameters, to a fixed grating gully outside. It's typically one of the safest ways. There's many ways, obviously we know that, but this is just one of those particular ways. As I say, sadly, not done this way. And again, this is questions that are raised time and time again from installers, just needing some clarity about the D2 discharge arrangements. So, D2 is to a trapped gully with the end of the pipe below the fixed grating but not submerged. Downward discharges, i.e. at low level, i.e. up to 100 mil above the external surfaces, e.g. where the car park, house standing is, grassed areas, etc. And it's acceptable with a wide cage or similar guard around that. So little children, etc., vulnerable people, let's say, can't get their hands around it. Discharges at high level can go into a metal hopper head, a metal downpipe with the end of the discharge clearly visible, or onto a roof capable of withstanding the discharge temperatures, and of water 3 metres away from any plastic guttering. How often have you seen that D2 going into plastic guttering? Quite often. So, can I put D2 into a soil stack? Yes is the answer. If D2 discharges into a soil stack, the soil pack must be made from a plastic material compliant with BSEN 1451, polypropylene. The problem we face is how do you know that that soil stack in that premises actually is compliant with that? So everybody will automatically go, right, stick on the waste pipe, into the soil stack, but how do you know the soil stack is? That's where it's questionable, shall we say, as to whether or not you can prove that. However, it might be fine as it says for new build, because you'd expect that to be compliant in part of your specifications. But when it comes to retrofit, how do you know? How do you know that plastic is meeting standards? Storage volumes with cylinders then must not exceed 210 litres. Stacks, this is if you're going to go into the stack. Stacks must be fully ventilated and not capped or have any air admittance valves, if therefore you're going to use D2 into the stack. And combi boilers or sealed system boilers cannot discharge into a soil pipe due to their higher temperatures. There's a typical arrangement with the waterless trap into a soil stack situation. So, scalding. Scalding for us as an institute has been, excuse the pun, a hot topic this year. but it's certainly something that's on the increase, and it's a shame, really. Even in today's society, we're still having these issues of scalding. So, when we look at the hot water temperature outlet, is it appropriate for the appliance being served? And any device to the limit the maximum temperature that can be supplied to the outlet can not easily be altered by the building users. For workplaces and premises controlled in connection with a trade, business or other undertaking, attention is drawn to the HSE publication on Legionnaire's disease, as per specification on there. So this is what's happening. We're seeing the increases through scalding from hot water and radiators. Again, we had a gentleman phone up not too long ago, and he was inquiring about radiators in the restaurant area. And they'd actually got a client that had sat there at the table in the restaurant, leant against the radiator, and the lady had burnt her arm, scalded her arm on the radiators. So it's about whether we're having the correct equipment rather than just sort of treating it as maybe what might be seen in domestic scenarios, but of course there is in a restaurant. So what we're pointing out is this: scalding is on the increase, along with Legionnaires. Recommended water temperatures. Can anybody give me what it should be for the following? The assisted bath. Any ideas? Let's have a look. An assisted bath is 48. A standard bath is 44. A bidet, 38. Wash basin outlets, 41. And shower, 41. So this is where the TMV2, TMV3 starts to come into play. So, G3 states, a TMV blending valve must be fitted in which circumstances? Any idea? Let's have a look. So, it's how do you interpret G3 to prevent scalding? They must be fitted in new homes, including those created as a result of a material change. Examples of this could be a barn conversion, a house converted into flats, or retail premises into a dwelling. They don't have to be fitted into existing dwellings, which is something, again, I get a regular question about that. Do I have to fit it? If I'm changing the bathroom, do I have to? Well, the answer actually is no. But if you've got a vulnerable person situation, and in today's society of, let's say, litigation, you're probably better doing so, because you will know the end user. You're looking after the end user, the customer. So, however, as I said, as you might want to, for potential safety reasons, they must be fitted in public buildings, must be fitted in care homes, nurseries, etc. They must be fitted if there's older people who live alone. You've got to consider the end user, and it might not necessarily the person that's going to continue using those premises. Say in the next 12 months, they could be moving house and so forth. From our point of view, it's about the prevention of scalding, full stop. So therefore, it's a matter of fit them to cover all angles to make sure you're not involved in any litigation processes. So, question on thermostatic blending valves. How often should they be serviced? Sorry? Any idea? Every year? Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll come to that in a minute. And where should they be located? As close as possible to the appliance. So, TMV2 required to be serviced annually. TMV3 should be checked after the first 6 weeks. TMV3 is mainly around, obviously, your hospitals, your doctors, your dentists, that area, for public health. So, should be checked after the first 6 weeks and serviced every 6 months for a TMV3, but annually on the TMV2 in the domestic dwelling. And it should be installed as close as possible to the system, or should I say to the appliance, actually. Let's have a look then. TMV valves, or blending valves, must be fitted as close as possible to prevent the colonisation of waterborne pathogens. If it's an intermittent use, is anticipated, then the provision for temperature flushing should be allowed for pasteurisation of the pipes, cleaning it through. They must be maintained, and this in turn means leaving them accessible. So, question is, do these requirements apply to small water heaters of less than 15 litres? Yes, it applies to all hot water systems. So, one of the things with TMVs is the service and maintenance. People install them, but are they accessible after? You know well as I do that when these things are fitted, let's say in a particular scenario where somebody's got a really nice bathroom, the last thing they're going to want to see next to the bath is an access panel. But of course it's got to go there. So it's about protecting the customer and yourself to make sure that they are serviced. There's a whole market out there, as we all know, for service and maintenance, but in reality, nobody's actually doing the service and maintenance of these valves. It therefore becomes pointless. But of course, last person in, last one on the job, they're highly likely to be held accountable. So if you're going to comply, fit them and make sure you've got a maintenance program with the end user to make sure that that is happening, that you're going to go back. Typical things, lime scale, that sort of stuff, so clearly going to have an issue as it does in plumbing systems anyway. But fundamentally, it's down to the installer to make sure that that can be maintained and looked after, and making sure, just as you would do if you've installed your unvented hot water cylinder annually to be serviced. Personally, I've not heard that many people that even go and do that to a certain extent. So annual servicing is something, it's not just the central heating boiler, it's the hot water system. It needs to be cared for, it needs to be looked after because of these issues of a growing area of legionnaires and scalding. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my presentation. Hope you enjoyed it.